Hi, welcome to BizBytes. My name is Earl Haddon with Money Mountain Systems. And today we're going to talk about networking and in particular, how to find the right networking group or groups for you. The first thing we want to talk about is why do we attend network groups anyway? The first reason is to find people who might be candidates to join our tribe or our marketing community. You know, you've heard the expression, people hate to be sold to, but they still love to buy. And the way that takes place in the current economy is that we create an environment that people know, like, and trust us and want to buy from us. So the first reason we go to a networking group is to identify those people and to let them know who we are so that they can join our tribe. The second reason we go to networking groups is to identify referral partners. A referral partner is someone that may have the same target market that you do but doesn't compete with you. So you can give them referrals of people that may be candidates for them, and they can give you referrals that are candidates for you. So the two main reasons are to identify people in our tribe and to identify referral partners. Next, we're going to talk about which events should we attend. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of networking groups just here in central North Carolina. And if you look across the world, if you look at one of the networking groups called Business Network International, you know, they have thousands of members in multiple countries. And there are some interesting things about that I'll tell you a little bit later when we talk about the different networking groups. But the reason that we attend networking groups is to meet those goals we talked about before. And speaking of goals, when you go into a networking group, you should have a goal. My goal usually is to meet 3 people that I haven't met before. It's really tempting to go into a networking group and see some people that you know but you haven't seen for a while and go talk to them for a half hour. But that's not the purpose of networking. The main purpose of networking, we've already talked about, is to get people to join our community so that they might do business with us. Here are some examples of some of the networking groups that you might consider. The most prevalent in just about every town and city in the country are the chambers of commerce, or the boards of trade, as they're called in some places. And these are people who are usually civic-minded individuals who do business in a local community. They're not doing business on a global basis. They're more looking at prospects in their local community. And the chambers of commerce usually have events like business before hours, business after hours, where you can do networking and get breakfast or have a light appetizer and a beverage after work. Usually there are a lot of people at these meetings, so you have to have a plan, which Liz will talk about next week, for how to identify the people that you want to talk to. A second group are workshops. There are a lot of workshops in our community where people are talking about things like LinkedIn or Joe Navarro's courses on networking, things like that. But they also give you an opportunity, usually a half hour or an hour before and after the meetings, to network and find people that are candidates for your business. So when you go to a workshop, don't plan to run in right at the last minute and leave just before the bell rings. You want to give yourself time to network and meet some people that are prospects for you. One of the mistakes I made early on, and please don't make this mistake, was if somebody gave me a business card, they immediately went into my customer relationship management software. Now I have well over 1,000 people in my contact list, and I don't know who at least half of them are. You want to make sure that if you get somebody that you want to keep track of and you want to remain in communication with, that there's somebody that meets your ideal client description. The next group of networking events are what I call BOFs, or birds of a feather. This is where people in a similar industry or similar trade get together. And if you have a specialty, for example, we do quite a bit of work with financial advisors, then you want to go places where financial advisors go. And other people, one of my colleagues specializes in working with chiropractors. Another one, interesting enough for a target market, specializes in funeral homes. So there are a lot of these birds of a feather groups that you can identify and participate with, either as an adjunct member or a sponsor, to give you a chance to get in front of the right people. There are a lot of local leads groups, and I consider this to be kind of networking 101. If you've never been networking before and you're kind of worried about how to get involved, go to the local networking groups. First off, they're very forgiving, and they will teach you the techniques. For example, how to do a 30-second or 60-second elevator speech. And some of them will teach you things like how to do a one-to-one meeting with someone where you explain what your business is and what kind of person is a good candidate for you, and they will take the time to explain their business and do the same thing. There are some very large groups like Rockstar Connect that often have events with more than 100 people. And while they're tempting to attend, you have to work a lot harder at these, because you have to dig to find the people that are right for you. But I would make sure that you're on the mailing list for Rockstar Connect to see what events are coming up and which ones are near you. There's another one that has just started over the last year called LinkedIn Local. And this is intended for people who have made connections on LinkedIn and now would like to meet someone face-to-face that they have connected with and think would be a good referral partner or a good candidate to be in their tribe. There are a lot of women's groups, Women Power Networking, Women in Networking, the National Association of Women Business Owners that meet on a regular basis and do a very good job at supporting each other and building up each other's businesses. There are professional groups, or exclusive groups like BNI. Here in the Triangle, they have over 40 chapters. And one of the things that I found as a member of BNI is that when I was looking to expand my footprint to the Wilmington area, I attended the 3 chapter meetings in Wilmington and made some very good contacts. And because I was a member of a BNI chapter and they didn't have anybody in my particular profession at those meetings, I got an opportunity to tell them who I was and what I was looking for. There are some very high-level networking groups like the Executive Roundtables, and there are industry events like the North Carolina Chiropractic Association, North Carolina Dental Association, and the American Institute of CPAs that are all just here locally. Another one that just came to mind is the American Management Association meetings. There's usually a chapter in every major metropolitan area, and these are great opportunities to get together with other people who do marketing and can introduce you to a lot of really great people. Finally, how do you find the right group for you? This is always kind of a challenge because there are so many things going around, and you're better off going to a networking group where you've been invited. Though getting an invitation is usually not difficult, most people like to have visitors at their networking groups, and so you want to just give them a chance to invite you. For example, ask successful people. Who are the people that you respect, maybe have gotten where they want to in their career and where you'd like to be in the future, and ask them where they find most valuable. And a lot of them will tell you which networking groups they go to and will invite you to come along as their guest at the next one. Many of the networking groups the first meeting's free. And a number of them also include breakfast or lunch. The second way is that you might do internet searches. You can either do Google searching networking RTP or networking Durham and come up with a few names, and they'll tell you whether they're open to visitors or not. You can look at things like Meetup, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups that will give you opportunities. And one of the things to think about is it doesn't really matter where you are. There are networking groups everywhere. In fact, one of my daughters, who lives in Santa Rosa, California, started a group called the Sonoma County Hospitality Group that specializes in wineries, nice bed and breakfasts and hotels, and they network with each other and pass referrals and actually send customers from one winery to the next to taste the different types of wine that people like. I have not found a wine-based networking group here in Central North Carolina yet, but I'm sure that there will be one in the future. So finding the right networking group for you is something that you should really work towards. One of the ways to start is to visit each of the networking groups that are on your short list. Identify the ones that you'd like to go to. Many of them will let you attend once or twice before you make a commitment to join the group. Some of them you can go every week without officially joining. So there are a lot of opportunities around that you can try out and see which one works best for you. Next week, our BizBite is going to talk to you about what to do once you're in the networking event. And Liz is going to talk to you about some of the do's and don'ts of participating in a networking event to get the most out of it, the most return on your investment. Our call to action, and you should end every communication with a call to action. Our call to action is, if you like what you're hearing, put this on your calendar for next week. We're here every Wednesday at 12:30. And if you think that you have friends that might be struggling with networking, forward this video to them and let them take a look at it and decide whether they want to be a part of our marketing community as well. Thanks very much. See you next week.